In February of this year, at the age of 38, I left my corporate job. For many people, leaving a stable job in your late 30s may sound like a big decision, and honestly it was. It was not something I decided overnight. It was the result of many small choices I made over the last 12 years. I was just an ordinary person with a regular corporate career who started thinking differently about money, time, and freedom. When I look back at my 20s, I realized that many of my decisions looked boring from the outside. I saved more than most people around me. I avoided many lifestyle upgrades. I invested quietly for years when nothing exciting seemed to be happening. At that time, these choices did not feel special. But after more than a decade, those small decisions slowly created options for me. This video is not about telling anyone what they should do with their life. Everyone has different priorities, responsibilities, and situations. I just want to share what I did differently in my 20s and 30s, and how those decisions eventually allowed me to reach financial independence at 38. One thing I realized early in my career was that I looked at work a little differently. I was never against having a job. Actually, my corporate job gave me many good things. It gave me income, experience, confidence, and opportunities that I probably would not have had otherwise. I learned a lot during those years. But at the same time, I always had this thought in my mind. A job means I am exchanging a large part of my time and freedom for a salary. Every month I received money, but in return, my schedule was mostly controlled by someone else. When to wake up, when to leave home, when to return, when I could take a break, most of these things were connected to my job. And slowly, I started asking myself a simple question. Do I want to do this for the next 25 or 30 years? For many people, the answer may be yes, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people enjoy building a long career, getting promotions, and reaching higher positions. But for me, personal freedom was always more important than status. I was less interested in showing success and more interested in owning my own time. A bigger title, a more expensive lifestyle, or impressing other people never motivated me as much as having control over my own day. I wanted the freedom to decide how I spend my morning. I wanted the freedom to spend more time with my family. I wanted the freedom to work on things because I was interested in them, not only because I needed the next paycheck. This mindset slowly changed how I handled money. Instead of asking, what can this money buy me today? I started asking, how much freedom can this money create for me in the future? That small change in thinking influenced many decisions I made. As my career progressed, my income slowly started to increase. I received salary increases and my financial situation became better compared to the beginning of my career. And this is usually the time when many people naturally upgrade their lifestyle. When income goes up, expenses slowly start to go up too. A better apartment, a newer car, more expensive things, and a more comfortable lifestyle slowly become normal. I saw this happen around me.
Many of my friends and colleagues improved their lifestyles as they earned more money. Some bought expensive cars. Some moved into bigger apartments. Some started spending more because they could finally afford the things they wanted. And honestly, I understand that. Everyone works hard, and everyone has the right to enjoy the money they earn. But my personal priority was different. When my income increased, I tried not to increase my lifestyle at the same speed. I continued living almost the same way and invested most of the extra money. It was not always easy. Sometimes you question yourself when people around you are moving ahead in visible ways. Because society usually measures success by what people can see: the car you drive, the house you live in, the things you own. But the progress I was making was mostly invisible. It was inside an investment account. One thing I was careful about was locking too much money into things that did not create cash flow. For example, buying a very expensive home to live in may feel like an achievement, and for many people it is an important life goal. But for me, I always thought about the opportunity cost. If a large amount of money is locked in my own residence, that money is not generating regular income for me. Of course, rental property is different because it can create cash flow. But a bigger personal lifestyle usually comes with bigger permanent expenses. Higher income gave me a choice. I could use that money to upgrade my lifestyle immediately, or I could use it to slowly buy back my future time. For many years, I chose the second option. At the time, the difference did not look big, but after 10 or 12 years, those decisions started showing their real impact. During my single years, I made some decisions that probably looked unusual to many people. After getting a corporate job, I could have easily rented my own apartment. I had a stable income, and I could afford a more comfortable lifestyle. Having my own place would have been nice. More space, more privacy, and maybe it would have looked better from the outside. But I decided to continue sharing a room because I wanted to save and invest more money. It was not because I wanted to avoid spending on everything. I just knew what mattered more to me at that stage of life. A bigger apartment would have improved my lifestyle immediately, but it would also increase my monthly expenses. And every month, that difference could either disappear as rent or become part of my future investments. So I chose the second option. At the time, the savings did not look life-changing. A little extra money every month does not feel very powerful in the beginning. But I slowly learned that investing is not about what happens in 1 month or even 1 year. It's about giving time enough room to work. The money I started investing around 2014 did not change my life immediately. For many years, the growth felt slow. Sometimes it almost felt like nothing was happening. I just continued investing, continued learning, and tried to stay patient. But after more than a decade, compounding started to become visible. The small amounts I invested during those early years became much more meaningful by 2025. Looking back, I think those ordinary decisions made the biggest difference. Not one big financial move, not one lucky moment, just many small choices repeated for many years. At the time, it was simply my normal life. Only years later did I understand how much those small decisions helped me create more freedom. Another important decision I made during my journey was staying away from consumer debt as much as possible. I always felt that consumer loans could easily become a trap if I was not careful. Of course, not all debt is bad. Sometimes debt can be useful for building something productive or creating future value. But borrowing money just to upgrade my lifestyle never felt comfortable to me. Buying a more expensive car or purchasing things I didn't really need with borrowed money would give me something immediately, but it would also create a future responsibility. Every monthly payment would become another reason I needed my next salary, and my main goal was the opposite. I was trying to reduce my dependence on the paycheck, not increase it. During my career, whenever my income improved, I tried to avoid adding unnecessary financial commitments. I wanted to keep my life simple and flexible, because I realized that freedom is not only about how much money you earn, it is also about how much of your income you actually control. A higher salary does not always mean more freedom if every increase is already promised to future payments. For many years, avoiding consumer debt did not look like a big achievement. Nobody notices the car you didn't buy or the loan you didn't take. But quietly, those decisions gave me more options. The money that could have gone toward monthly payments was instead invested for my future. And over time, those simple choices became an important part of reaching financial independence. One thing I noticed after starting my career was that many people stop learning after they get a stable job. After finishing university and entering professional life, it's easy to feel like the learning phase is over. You become busy with work, responsibilities, family, and everyday life. I also had those responsibilities, but I realized that earning money and managing money are two completely different skills. A good salary alone does not guarantee financial independence.
If I did not understand how to manage and invest my money properly, years of hard work could easily disappear through poor financial decisions. So, I decided to continue learning. Because I was investing my own savings, I wanted to understand what I was actually doing. I didn't want to depend only on random advice, rumors, or short-term market predictions. To improve my knowledge, I completed 8 courses from BICM. Those courses helped me understand the stock market in a more structured way. I learned how businesses work, how to analyze companies, and why long-term thinking matters in investing. Before learning properly, it's easy to think the stock market is only about buying and selling quickly.
Many people tried to make fast money through short-term trading, but I understood that was not the path I wanted to follow. I was not interested in watching prices every day or trying to predict every market movement. Instead, I focused on investing in quality businesses and holding them for the long term. Learning about blue-chip companies, fundamentals, and long-term investing helped me stay patient. It also helped me avoid many mistakes that new investors often make. Of course, I still made mistakes along the way. No investor makes every decision perfectly, but education gave me a better framework. It helped me stay calm during difficult market periods and continue with my plan. Looking back, those hours spent learning were just as important as the money I invested, because without the right knowledge, even a good income can be wasted. For me, investing in my own financial education became one of the best investments I made. From around 2014 to 2025, I continued saving, investing, learning, and keeping my lifestyle under control. The companies I invested in continued growing, and my dividend income also increased over time. Eventually, that passive income became enough to cover my basic family expenses. Rent, food, utilities, and normal everyday costs were no longer completely dependent on my monthly salary, and that gave me the option to leave my corporate job at 38. It was not an overnight success. It was not one perfect investment decision. It was simply the result of many small choices repeated consistently for more than a decade. Most of those decisions looked boring at the time, but they quietly changed my future. After leaving my corporate job, I don't think my life suddenly became perfect. I still have responsibilities, challenges, and uncertain moments like everyone else. Financial independence did not remove every problem. It simply gave me more control over my own time. Looking back, I don't think everyone needs to follow the same path I followed. Some people value career growth, status, or a different lifestyle, and that is completely fine. For me, I slowly understood that freedom and time were more important. These choices made sense for the kind of life I wanted to build.